Welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I am your host, Nyomi Banks, and I am thrilled to have you join me on this transformative journey. You see, every day we dive into a powerful conversation about self-discovery, healing, and empowerment. This podcast is brought to you by Ask Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery, where we believe that loving yourself is the first step to living a fulfilling life. You can expect insightful discussions, practical tips, and inspiring stories. Plus, we'll occasionally welcome special guests who will share their unique perspectives on self-love and personal growth. So get comfy, grab your favorite beverage, and let's embark on this journey together. Because it's time to embrace the beautiful person that you are. So let's elevate our lives one episode at a time. Now let's get started. Well, all right, my beautiful people. Well, welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I'm your host, Nyomi Banks, and this is our final Mindset Monday of the season. Yes, it is, but also this is as we continue our July series of preparing for transformation. Well, today we're addressing something that I know that many of you can relate to, and that's something that I personally has been navigating right now, and that's anxiety around medical procedures. Whether you're preparing for surgery like I am, or you're just facing a diagnostic procedure, or just supporting someone through their medical journey, this conversation is for you. All right, so before we get into this conversation, let's take a quick break. All right, it's your girl, the goddess, Nyomi Banks, here on the Season of Self-Love podcast, and we'll be right back.
Washington Wellness Institute focuses on healing always. For me, if I look good, then I feel good. If I feel good, then I share the good. If I share the good, then I celebrate the good. If I celebrate the good, then I live the good. So I can be paid to be my greatest. But I have to learn the good to be the good.
So, what does it take to be the greatest? It's as simple as a free 15-minute consultation. Be kind to yourself and heal always.
Hey, it's your girl, the goddess, Nyomi Banks, and make sure you tune in every Thursday night to Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast, where we talk about everything from love, sex, relationship, cultural differences, and so much more. We're bridging the gap between them all, and we even talk about spiritual uplifting. You need to stop by me and Dr. Mike, as well as the BTG crew. We have some amazing guests that come through. You never know. Just make sure you tune in Thursday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Go to xnaomi.com and tell them Naomi sent you. All right, my beautiful people, well, welcome back. So as I sit here just weeks away from my explant surgery, weeks away, I have to be honest with you all. The anxiety has been real. I'm going to tell y'all something. I get up for the past month. My body's been waking me up at 2 o'clock every morning. And I just be sitting there. I don't know. I'm so serious when I say this. And I know you're looking at me, Dr. Will, like, really? Yes. Like, I sit there. I know the decision that I made and why I made that decision. I can even see what I look like afterwards. This is how visually. But that anxiety just get in there, and it had me up and just thinking about what? Thinking about what? I'm telling y'all, even though I know that this decision is right for my body, I even know that I trust my surgeon. Even though my intuition is clear, there are moments when my mind spirals into worry. So what if something goes wrong? What will recovery be like? How would I feel when I wake up? What if the procedure doesn't resolve my health issues? When I'm telling you, it goes in my mind, man. It goes in my mind. And I'm going to tell you, and I know Dr. Will can probably help me on this as well, because last week we talked about fear and intuition, about making that life-changing decision. And I understand that decision that I made, that it's going to be changing my life for the good. But then there is that old version or that old mindset of mine that will come in and whisper of anxiety, that would try to convince me that I'm not strong enough, or I'm not prepared enough for what is coming. But here's what I learned through processing, through my work with Dr. Will, that anxiety before a medical procedure is not only normal, it's almost universal. And more importantly, we are not powerless against it, that we can prepare mentally and emotionally just as thoroughly as we prepare physically. But today we're going to explore on how to transform that anxiety from something that paralyzes us into something that empowers us. How to move from feeling like a victim of our circumstances to feeling like an active participant in our healing journey. Well, I am joined by my guy, my doctor, Dr. Will Washington. You know, he specializes in everything from anxiety to health-related stress to coping strategies to healing modalities, and all of that. Hey, Dr. Will, welcome to the conversation.
I'm excited to do this with you because this is a big deal. This is supposed to be the season finale. I'm liking this.
Yeah, it is. And you know, because I'm getting ready to say something, but let's do this. Let's ground ourselves. Yeah, let's ground ourselves, because I'm like, if you only know, I'm on my tippy toes sitting on here, my toes like this, like ready to go. Let me ground myself right now, right? So we're going to do a nice little grounding situation where we do all the time. If you guys could just close your eyes at this moment, at this time, and get comfortable. Take a deep breath in. Hold it gently and exhale slowly, allowing any tension to melt away. I want you to feel your body settle into this moment. Feel the support beneath you, the chair, the floor, the earth itself holding you. Now I want you to visualize a calming light that's surrounding you, starting at the top of your head and flowing through your entire body. This light is anchoring you in peace and wrapping you in safety and love. Now, as you continue to breathe slowly and deeply, invite a sense of calm and confidence into your mind and body. And repeat silently after me. I am safe. I am supported. I am in control of my journey. Now, with each breath, feel this truth settling deeper and deeper inside your being. You are exactly where you need to be, and you have everything within you to navigate whatever lies ahead. And when you are ready, gently bring your awareness back to our conversation, carrying this sense of groundedness with you. All right, my beautiful people. Thank you for just being in that moment with me right now, with us. And if you're new here to the Season of Self-Love podcast, it's something we do every day, Monday through Friday, here to, again, just to ground us before we get into the topic again, because I needed that grounding for a moment, because I was there. All right, so Dr. Will, before we dive into strategies, I want to normalize something for the listeners. You know, feeling anxious about medical procedure, it doesn't mean that we're weak or we don't trust our decisions. Can you speak on why anxiety is so common and actually quite normal?
Yes, just in general, anxiety can mean so many different things. When people say they have anxiety, I'm thinking about nervousness, uncertainty, fear, lack of information, not knowing, right? Attachments. There's so many different reasons that people have anxiety. And when it comes to medical procedures, especially like this, you have to understand that this is a moment in your life where your control is in the hands of someone that you just met or someone that you don't know. It's in the hands of someone that is supposed to have their best intentions within you. And the uncertainty is that we can't control how well things are going to go. You can't control how things are going to be. And so that uncertainty is a normal response. If you were completely okay with it, I'd be worried about it. Right. And so it's very human to be unsettled with something that is uncertain.
You know, I love that you say that. And let me say this also to my listeners, is that the anxiety that I feel now is totally different from the anxiety attacks that I used to have before. And I don't know if I ever shared this with you. It started off with my second pregnancy. And I remember I was on bed rest the whole entire time. And so really I wasn't supposed to be really driving, but I would drive. Like I lived in Indiana and my grandmother lived in the suburbs of Illinois. And I was like right over the borderline right there, like 20-minute ride, 30-minute ride. But my oldest daughter, she went to school in Illinois because I didn't like the school system in Indiana. So I would get up every morning and drive her back and forth, to school. And I would just wait, at my grandmother's house with it, and I would drive her back. Well, on our way back home, it will always be dark, and I wouldn't take the expressway. I would take the streets because I would have these anxiety attacks where I would have to pull over. I would become short of breath, like I could not breathe. Um, dizziness where I couldn't, and then all of a sudden I would black out. So it was like I would get a signal to let me know that that's happening. It was like I get like a heat, like a flash of heat that would come. And I knew at that time I need to pull over on the side of the road. So can you imagine a woman that's 7-8 months pregnant with a 9-10-year-old in the back seat on the side of a dark road, and all I could do is just tell her to keep talking because I can hear her, but I couldn't see her. Or I'll call my mom or my grandmother on the phone. And this went on for the whole entire pregnancy.
Wow.
It was crazy. It was even one time that I made it home. We made it home. And I was walking through the front door and I just collapsed. And when I woke up, I heard them, I saw my daughter called 911. The ambulance, everything came there, and I could just hear everything, but I couldn't see. And they said my eyes were open, but I couldn't see anything. It was like my whole body just shut down. And the doctors couldn't tell me what that was. They was like, well, that's an anxiety attack that you're having. I remember it felt like I was having a heart attack at sometimes. And I didn't know what that was. And when I got pregnant with my third child, the same thing.
Wow. Yeah. And so you experience a psychosomatic reaction, right? Some people just become mental, but some people they're so powerful that it can go to their body and their bodies will completely dissociate. And it's kind of like it's like fight or flight mode, but like your mind says, I'm gonna stay here, and the body's like, well, I'm gonna keep moving. Yeah, I'm not waiting on you anymore. Usually the mind goes, the body chases where the mind goes. Right? But when your mind says, I'm out, and your body's like, no, the instinct is here, that's a complete dissociation.
So let
We
me say
dissociate more than we realize. We do.
right.
And people don't talk about it, but we dissociate a lot more than we realize. And I think a lot of people of color dissociate so much that for them, it's just a part of their natural life because they cannot believe that what they're experiencing is the reality of what's currently occurring.
Yeah.
Like that's a real thing. And a lot of times with people that have anxiety, that dissociation is usually fed by an irrational perception, right? Or distorted thinking, right? There's like 10 types of distorted thinking. And like one of them is like the all or nothing, right? So one of them is all or nothing. So if someone perceives, if I can't do all of it, then nothing matters, then they'll end up just cutting out and tuning out everything else that's possible because they couldn't understand anything other than all, right? It's okay to have some and still be meaningful, but for them, it doesn't matter. So everything shuts off. Nothing doesn't matter. You can't talk through it. You can't feel through it. Time just has to pass. And that is a very debilitating moment in life. Very debilitating.
Wow. That's something really deep there. As you were saying that about, because I was kind of like back then, an all or nothing type of feel.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I was I was probably worse then than I am now of being a perfectionist, but also of planning things. You understand what I'm saying? So that second pregnancy for me, it wasn't planned. The pregnancy right before then was planned, but this one was not planned. And what I mean by that is it was a miracle baby because with the baby before her, I actually had to go get shots, fertility drugs. I went through a whole fertility thing to help. And it was always told to me that I could not have any children unless, any more children unless I did that. And this is so funny with my first husband. We were separated. We had broke up. I had to abort the baby because it was causing me so much pain and what's the name. So we had to abort the baby then. And so we had broken up. It was gone. And one drunken night, I'm just going to tell you, one drunken night from the club, I wanted some, and I knew he the only person that I could trust that I could do it. And so I went and we did the do. Find out Christmas morning that I
Wow.
was pregnant. Yes.
Wow.
Find out Christmas morning. So in that whole year, I was on bed rest that whole entire. When I'm saying it's on bed rest, my legs were swollen up, my feet, and it was like they didn't want me to move anywhere. It was like I had cysts the size of footballs that was in my womb along with the baby then. And so it was very, they had wanted me to abort early on. And I said, no, we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to go ahead. But when I didn't get that support, that I needed, and I was like, okay, I can't go through this and then I might die. And so we did all the doctors. We was like, okay, this would be the best decision for that. And that's what we did. And that was all in the same year. So I'm thinking I'm good.
Wow.
Like, that had happened. That was like in March or April or something that had happened. So here we come full force in October. It was for my birthday, October. I had birthday sex. That's what that was.
Right.
And then here she comes, then this is what I found out about her. And the doctor was like, look, you cannot go to work anymore. You cannot drive. You cannot do anything. But I knew I still needed to do life. I still had a 9-year-old that will be 10 soon, that I had to get her, going. I knew life had to happen. But I was that all or nothing, like, okay, and I can see it now that as you see it, I'm like, wow, that is what that was. And that's what my body just did. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the fact that you understand your body in that way, like you can have that psychosomatic reaction, that is a grounding that's needed. Because, a lot of times when I have people that have those type of anxiety attacks, I have to ground them and I teach them what to do. I always start out with awareness, like 3 levels. So the awareness of the room, the relationship to what they're connected by, things, and then I do internalize by temperature. So I do temperature control on like the back of the spinal cord, or the back of the neck here, to help reconnect with people.
Yeah. And like I said, it's better. It's so much better now. It's nowhere near that now. And I think because I have been going through the process of understanding what is around me, accepting of my life or what it is. You know what I'm saying? Embrace more. And so I'm not in denial. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm
Right,
more
that makes sense.
appreciative of life. It's a whole total different thing. That was back in when I was 30. I'm 52 years old now. So that was 22 years ago. And life has happened for me. So now I'm like, okay, even the last one that, it was a life changing. I was leaving the industry, and I didn't have all of my ducks in order like I wanted to. They were getting in order, but it just came just like, and I was upset. Like, y'all told me I couldn't have any more kids. I didn't have no such, I didn't like, what the heck?
Yeah, right.
And then I stopped and I said, okay, what is this, God? What is this? Because I said, whenever you were ready for me to leave, I'm going to leave. And I guess it's time for me to leave. And that caused me to do the retirement, to retire. And so from then I took that. I just remember going through that entire 9 months. And that was some deep, deep healing, the beginning of deep, deep healing process for me. Like, really, I couldn't go anywhere. I had to sit in it. I had to go in my closet or crawl in my closet. So I had to be there and sit in it and understand what everything was. And when I think about it, that was really the beginning of my spiritual journey. I didn't actively do it like I wanted to, because I remember just going to get rebaptized all over again to help cleanse, everything that I've been through for the past, every years that I was in the adult industry. I shaved my head. I shaved my hair, like everything. But it was like, I don't want to cleanse you in that way. That's not what we're doing here. I need you to understand who you are. And I believe in these past 5-6 years is where the real awakening came, because I started to do my spiritual healing,
Mm-hmm.
actively and intentionally. So now when I wake up in the morning at 2 o'clock, now I'm like, okay, why am I up? What are my concerns? So now I know how to ask my body that. And I truly thank Season of Self Love. I thank for the courses and the classes that I have taken, because otherwise I wouldn't have known any of that. I probably would be on the floor somewhere disconnected.
Yeah. And I think, but that's the goal though. The goal is to learn your mind, your body, and your heart
Yeah.
as three different people, so that when you sit in the center of all three of them, you can make a decision that balances every scale.
Yeah.
That is the goal, right? Like, to know what your mind does, to know what your heart does, to know what your body does is so important. I mean, so many of us are so disconnected, or we think that's all just one thing. It's like, no, like these are three different experiences that you're having.
Yeah.
And you need to figure out which one's in the most need of you right now. We don't even know how to tend to ourselves the way we need to with self-care.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one thing, is I'm very grateful for my whole journey. I am, because if it wasn't for that journey, that I wouldn't have known, I would not know that. You understand what I'm saying? And I would still be, going to the hospital. We're doing all kinds of things, for that. And so I'm able to connect more with myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 And I think that's, when it comes to anxiety, it's a separation of the present moment, right? You're anticipating something that it's like going fishing,
Yeah.
and there's no water in the fish.
Mm-hmm.
There's no fish in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like you're just sitting there waiting for something to pull, and it's like, no, like, and I'm telling you there's nothing there, but your body's like in a loop. It's a loop. So you just keep looping and looping and looping. And a lot of us don't realize that we all go through our own mental illness loop. We all have it. Some
Mm-hmm.
loops are bigger than others. Some people's
Yeah.
loops, they don't think it's the same loop. It's just a bigger circle. Some people have small ones,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I had to teach people this all the time, is that we all have our own illness loop. We just don't know how to slow it down or know if we're in it or not. And that awareness is so crucial.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't mean to go all the way into the thing, but you actually kind of just gave us some basics with medical procedure with anxiety, or what exactly is happening in our minds. And when you talk about the loops and in our bodies, but I want to let the listeners know is that there's still a connection. I know last week we talked about, and I've been talking about for the past few weeks, about our body telling us something, but our mind telling us something else. So let me ask you this question for anxiety. And I think you did, but I want it just to be really clear, because you were just speaking on my story. The mind and the body, when anxiety has happened, does that mean that there's a miscommunication between the two of them?
Yes.
Okay.
So, yes. And so what happens is that your mind is perceiving a threat or an uncertainty that triggers a stimulus that goes outside of your actual perception of control. And so your body is turned into like this threat. It's either it's a threat or a worry or some type of trigger that's like unsafe or unnatural or irrational or something not okay. And your body's like, there's something wrong. Oh my God. And then your mind might be like, okay, I'm done. But your body's still like, I'm still going.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going. And your body's like, wait a second. Oh, I'm coming with you now. Okay, I'm coming. I gotta go in now. I gotta jump in a tornado. and so a lot of times it's really, especially when I have veterans, right? When they have dissociations, when they're triggered and they have flashbacks, or it's their mind is like, I'm going, and the body's like, you're dragging me through this.
Yeah.
Right. And you can't tell between day or night. You can't tell because your body has believed that it's in that loop. It's in that moment. And it has to wait till the body has to regulate, which is why Like when I do hypnotherapy for veterans, I always have ice buckets or hot rags to put around their body because their body is heating up to that. All this comes down to is the nervous system being untrained. The nervous, like if you want to talk about the core of things, it really is on a scientific level, the nervous system not being able to regulate and not knowing when to regulate because the mind has not learned the proper skill to ground itself. And so the nervous system is in a reactive state and it doesn't know how to reset. And so the easiest way to do that is to do an ice plunge or to do something that will snap the body and reset the body automatically. And that's why we always have those ice baths and those things to help regulate the body, because the nervous system doesn't know how to regulate itself. You can't tell the nervous system stop, right? It's like, I'm trying to survive. It's life or death, life or death, life or death. That's why stress is such an important thing in life. Stress is the number one killer.
Yeah.
But anxiety opens up your awareness to stress. Stress is literally the awareness of how difficult a threat is or how imminent a threat it will be, right? Stress is very important to understand. Like, we have to start learning to communicate what our stress is, because anxiety is an awareness of that. So, stress is aware. It's just so important. And I think that, before I check your anxiety, I'd want to check your stress levels. Stress is a wellness currency in my healing philosophy. So, I understand stress is something different.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get into the practical of it. All right. The practical tools. What are some specific techniques that our listeners can use when they're feeling overwhelmed by medical procedure anxiety?
Yes. 3 simple steps. 1, have a friend with you, have someone with you. Having someone else listen to the news, being around you with the news, it feels like someone's taking the other load of the awareness of it all, right? Having someone there, because you think that you have to memorize everything the doctor is saying in that moment. So to have someone else there is so important. The second thing is to do your own research, right? Don't mystify the situation. Really look at what happens afterwards. Look at other people that may be going through the recovery. The fact that you're really documenting your work, right? It's going to be helpful for other people to feel less alone and isolated, because a lot of times our fear is because we think we're the only ones going through it.
Yeah.
And then lastly, keep a journal for yourself, or create a new type of hobby or some type of thing that you can get into during this process that you can connect to. I always like puzzles, or I always like building things and being ingrained with something, learning a new skill, because that's a really good thing to have, because it's new while you're actually going through something different than you're not used to. So it's a great way to kind of put and transmute that energy into something constructive rather than deconstructive. And it's okay to slow down and journal your experiences and have a diary of that too.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Will. You said something earlier, and we talk about this all the time about listening to our bodies. And so I just want to be very, very candid and very just out there. So throughout this whole episode, if y'all can see my voice kind of changing, it's a little deep, sultry type of voice. Trust and believe that's not me doing it on purpose. So a part of a lot of the symptoms of breast, breast implants illness is that you have this dry cough, this very, very dry cough. And I actually honestly have been going through this all week, even through some of the interviews. And so I know that we really wanted to get truly deep into this conversation, but I think that we've kind of given our listeners, something that they can, take with them right now. And so when we return back in October, we could kind of finish it up, as well as kind of like the post of, me with the surgery and stuff like that. So Dr. Will, what I want to do right now, I want to close out right now with a nice guided meditation. I'm going out, and then we could come in and, excuse me, and say our final words.
That's
All right.
fine. Completely fine.
All right, my beautiful people, you know how we do it. If you could just get comfortable right now, just for a moment, and close your eyes. Place both hands on your heart and take 3 deep breaths. I want you to feel your heart beating steadily, reliably, keeping you alive moment by moment. Now I want you to imagine yourself of the day of your procedure or the day you're supporting someone else. Instead of focusing on fear, I want you to picture yourself feeling calm, prepared, and surrounded by love and support. See yourself breathing easily, trusting in your decision, trusting in your medical team, trusting in your body's ability to heal. Feel the peace that comes from knowing you've done everything that you can to prepare you mentally, emotionally, and physically. Now repeat silently after me. I am safe. I am supported. I trust my process. And I am stronger than I know. Hold this feeling of calm confidence in your heart, knowing that you can turn to it whenever you need to. All right, thank you. All right, my beautiful people. Again, I apologize that we have to cut this a little short, but Dr. Will, do you have any last words for our listeners right now?
Yeah, be kind to yourself and heal always.
I know that's right. All right, my beautiful people. Well, this week, I just want you all to just start building your calm kit. Choose 1 or 2 items of practice that bring you peace. And, I hope that you wrote down the information that Dr. Will gave you about having that support system, somebody there that can actually understand what the doctor is telling or anything else. But also begin incorporating the tools into your daily routines. Practice the breathing technique. Complete the journal prompts that Dr. Will was talking about journaling. And remember, if this episode has helped you, please share it with someone who might be see, there I go again, excuse me, I just need to finish it. That might be facing their own medical anxiety. Sometimes knowing that we're not alone in our fears is a first step towards courage. So trust your process. Your rebirth is happening. You are so much more supported than you know. So until October, my beautiful people.
Pumpkin season.
Yes, have an amazing view. This has been an amazing series and an amazing season. So again, Dr. Will, thank you to my beautiful listeners, and I will see y'all tomorrow for Transfer Tuesday. I see y'all soon. Have a good one. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovering and empowerment here at the Season of Self-Love podcast. Remember, embracing self-love is a continuous journey, and we're so glad to have you with us. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review. And don't forget to join our community on Facebook at Season of Self-Love. Connect with like-minded individuals who are also on their self-love journey. Now, if you have any questions or topics that you'd like for us to explore, we love to hear from you. Email us at seasonofselflove@gmail.com and let your voice be heard. So until next time, take a moment for yourself today and remember, you are worthy of love, joy, and all the beautiful things that life has to offer.